So when I was in my mid-20s, oh, hey, it's Shira. Welcome to the What She Making podcast. Story time. When I was in my 20s, I moved 1,300 miles away from my family. I went from the deep south to the northeast, a la Great Migration. And when I got here and I started making friends and meeting people, I would often hear "Oh, you're so brave. You weren't afraid to move away. You're so brave." And it always would strike me as a little bit odd, only because I was not so brave. I was scared. I was homesick. I was adjusting to the general, I don't want to say attitudes. What do you call it? Just the general vibe of the Northeast. It is a little more jagged than Southern hospitality, but definitely still kind. Like there's a kindness to this ruggedness, if you will. But the point is, I was never not scared. I just was determined to do the thing. And so I did it scared. Like I just made up in my mind that that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I bring that up because there's this thing that happens in the creative sort of journey, where there's this element of fear. There are these places where we make this thing up in our minds and make it so big and so scary that we're afraid to just move, just make the move, and it doesn't even have to be like a 1,300 mile move away from your hometown and your family. It could just be the move of putting yourself out there, putting your work out there, or even just making an attempt at a painting and not getting to this place where, and you can, I don't know if this is happens more so with women. I just notice it more so with women, where we do a thing, we make a thing. Let's say you make this pie, you tried this new recipe, and immediately, before anyone says anything, even taste it, you're immediately talking it down. You're immediately saying what went wrong, how it didn't turn out. It's like this fear of, I'm going to beat you to the punch of criticism so that I don't feel bad if you criticize me. And all of that is really fear-based. You do this painting. You're not used to being a painter. You don't call yourself creative. You don't call yourself an artist. And so you make this attempt at painting, and you just immediately, instead of just accepting it as your work and maybe even being proud of it, I just noticed so many times, and maybe I'm just not around enough dudes to say this about fellas, but ladies, there's this immediate, oh, well, I tried to do this and this part went wrong. And this is it's, we just prejudge. It's a different kind of prejudice. We prejudge the work out of fear, I believe it's out of fear of someone else judging it. I believe it's out of fear of not being considered good enough. I believe it's out of this fear of just having this work that you're proud of and having it not be accepted by whoever you're presenting it to. And really, and I'm going to say this twice, you're the only one who needs to accept the work. If you love it, even if you hate it, you learned something. Like that right there, like putting yourself out there, trying a new thing, moving away in whatever direction you're moving away, be it physical or mental, that's an accomplishment. You tried. And I think we have such a hard time getting past inner critics that we don't even give the outer critics a chance. Because honestly, guys, the outer critics don't even matter. They're not doing the thing. Those are the loudest critical voices, the ones who are not doing the thing. Or that inner critic, someone who has maybe said something to you in your past, be it a parent or a spouse or a loved one, or someone who said something that made you second guess yourself. And so now that's the voice that's back here, yum, 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 every time you make something. Gotta push past fear. Gotta be brave. Gotta shut those voices down. Because really, boo-boo, like, there's no reason to listen to someone speaking that badly about you. Even if it's you. Here, let me get close. Especially if it's you. Don't put up with that talk from yourself or from anyone else. Do the thing. And part of that is determining in your mind, determining in your heart that you're going to do it. And there's some tips and tricks, to get to that place, to visualize yourself in the place where, like, okay, I'm just going to do a painting. I'm just going to write the book. I'm just going to move forward on this idea that I had creatively. And there are many, many places across life where you can apply this. For me, let's talk about being creatives, because that's why we're here, right? There are just so many ways to get your mind right. I've done vision boards, I've done affirmations, I've done positive self-talk, and I'm going to tell you now, sometimes it doesn't feel natural to do. Sometimes it doesn't feel genuine, but that's not the point. The point is to do it. I recently found, and I'll probably put up a Udemy class about this, Udemy course about on how to do this. But I have found when it comes to mindset, when it comes to pushing past the voices, because that's all you're doing. Let me interrupt myself. That's all you're doing when you do visualizations and this affirmations and all of this positive self-talk. It is you making your voice, your goals louder, bigger, more important than any other voice that's saying otherwise. That is you over talking the negative talk. So if that's negative self-talk, if that's talk coming from an external source, wherever that is, the whole point of doing any kind of visualization, vision board, all of that is to be louder than what's negative and coming at you from within or from without. So in the past, I've done I've taken a class on doing vision books. There are some people who would do just a whole sketchbook of vision, pictures and phrases, goals. I've also known people who just do boards, be it yearly or every 5 years. There are lots of ways to do it. I found the fastest way for me personally, and the most effective, is to do a video vision board. So if you guys are interested, I will be happy to post a link to make a course and post a link to it. But guys, when I put this together, and you can do more than one, you can do tons of them, or you can do one. I try to make them 5 minutes or less, but waking up and being able to just hit play on my app and watch the images as well as the phrases, it's like it's a pep rally for myself. I like to wake up and just play this pep rally of goals. How you like that? Instead of vision board, it's a goals pep rally. It's or even because I play it at night too. It's a reminder in the evening of okay, this is what I'm getting rest to do, to wake up, to have energy, to keep my goals front of mind, because we forget during the day. We forget the things that we want to work hardest for. We have dishes and laundry and maybe kids, maybe a family to take care of. And sometimes those things, when you are in that kind of loop, especially if you're working for an employer, even if you're working for yourself, you get in this loop of just duties, and you need to remind yourself, hold up. These are the things that I want to get done in my life. These are the things that are important to me. These are the things that, not that those other things aren't important, but this is what I'm working on for me. This is what I'm working on for me. And I refuse to take any negative talk from me or anybody else, because I'm going to push through and do what's important for me. So what do you do? What do you put into this video vision board? If there is a general type of creativity that you wanted to explore, if I was a non-creative, and you know how I feel about that term, I would put a beautiful background and just a phrase, "We are all made to create." And I would just remind myself, I would have that play for, 5 to 7 seconds, put some music on it. We are all made to create. And that might be it. I mean, you can put some beautiful paintings or sculptures or whatever it is you want to dive into, even just making, crafting, put some pictures of projects that you would like to attempt, and just keep with that phrase until it gets in your mind and in your heart and down in your spirit, and you start believing, and then you make the attempt. Guys, I cannot tell you how important mindset is to getting stuff done. It's invaluable. So that's the non-creative. Creative person. You are stalling on this project out of fear. You have been wanting to put yourself out there to go and do this craft show, to apply to this certain craft show, to get into this creative store, or to approach the shop owner. You have been stalling because of your fear, because of the negative talk inside your head, because of the negative talk that you've maybe heard from others. Same thing. I would get my visuals together. I would get my mantra together. In this case, depending upon what it is that my work is good enough. My work is good enough. It is beautiful. I make beautiful things. My work is good enough. Because isn't that part of it, right? Where it's like, man, I'm going to go to this shop owner, or I'm going to be in this craft show, and I can't get into that store because I'm not good enough. Or I can't get into this show because I'm not good enough. And honestly, y'all, on the really real, a lot of that don't even have anything to do with your work. This thing with putting your creative voice out there into the mix has more to do with you finding your people who also speak the same language than it has anything to do with whether or not you're good enough. Because you can get into a shop and nothing moves because no one's coming in there to speak your language, or your creative language, or this shop owner doesn't speak it, or but that doesn't, or the people who are at this craft show don't speak it, but that doesn't have anything to do with how good the work is, if you are enough, you as a creative person, you as a creator. Very little to do with that. No. I'm telling y'all, I used to get into this place, and I have done this when I was young and had just moved to the big city from the deep south. I moved up here, and at the time I was doing these kind of large scale paint, not large scale, like 24 by 36, sort of big paintings, but not like super, super large. Anyway, I entered this juried show at the main library. Big show. I got into it, and my work was shown. I was excited to see it up on the wall with other works. And in case you don't know this, a juried show means that it's being judged. And a lot of times there would be a cash prize for placing. And so I did okay in this show, but I didn't place. I did not place. And immediately, y'all, immediately, I was just done. Dejected. Sorry, I gotta look at the clock. It's almost time to go get my kid. But I told the organizer called me and asked if I was going to pick it up. And I told her to throw it in the trash. I trashed a whole painting, y'all, because I didn't feel like it was good enough. If it didn't place, it wasn't good enough. Never mind, it got into the show. It didn't place. It wasn't good enough. I'm a terrible artist. Why am I even trying to create? You're trying to create because it's in your belly to create. So, y'all, I have made the mistakes. I'm sure I have some more to go as long as I'm alive, right? But the thing is, it did not have anything to do with whether or not my work was good. It just didn't. Like, okay, well, that group of people weren't speaking my creative language. How many times have you gone to an art museum and been like, this looked like my 6-year-old could have done it? But it spoke at the time to the people who were jurying shows, and it became a classic. It spoke. And I'm not saying like, some things are not as good as others. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you are enough as a creator. You are enough. We can all improve skills in different areas, but that doesn't mean that you're not enough. You are made to create. Get your mind right. I will I'm going to link this course, link these tools down for you. Get your mind right. Get the project out there. Start creating. Start making. Continue to create. Get yourself unstuck. Stop listening to all the negative bullcorn that you're telling yourself. Stop listening to people who are not doing it. Get your mind right. Get unstuck. You've got this. And I'll see you next time.